What's up, guys? Art Dude 47 here, and today we're talking about something near and dear to my heart, the Nintendo 64. The 64 was the first console that I owned, and it holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I have three brothers, and nothing beat four-player co-op, even if my two older brothers always won. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the 16 officially released console variations, their rarity, and their price. A couple housekeeping things to get out of the way first. Rarity is something that's very hard to determine because I don't have the number of each console variation that was produced, so really I don't know number wise which is more rare. So I will be using price to determine rarity. I know that's not always the best indicator, but it's the best thing I've got to go by. Now, the other thing to consider is rarity is also subject to where you live, and my rarity is coming from North America and my experience. The rarity order is also made assuming we're talking about a complete in-box console, although I will give the price for both in-box and loose consoles. Finally, all prices are assuming all cords are included as well as a matching controller and that the console is in an average condition, with mint condition consoles costing more and poor condition consoles costing less. The prices I'm giving are prices I would say you could easily find these consoles at, but as with everything else, a little patience and you could definitely find them cheaper. Alright, so first we're going to talk about one of the consoles that I have in my personal collection. It's the one you're probably most familiar with. It's the most common. It's the charcoal gray console. So I've got it here. They call it a charcoal gray. I'd say it's more of a black, but what do I know? So for the price, you can easily find this one. It's got a 2-controller edition. It came with both a gray controller as well as the atomic purple controller. You can find that in the box, I'd say, for about $150. And like I said, this is just easily, you want to buy it today, you can go get it, $150. Loose, you could probably find the gray console for about $60 to $70. And of course, that's including a controller, as well as all cords you'll need. Alright, so the next in my rarity list is actually a Japanese console. This console is a two-toned console, similar to the Pokemon console that was released in North America. On the top is the ice blue color. The bottom is a clear white. I've got that console here for you. I don't own this one in my collection, so this is what it looks like. It's ice blue on the top, clear white on the bottom. This one, I would say in the box you can usually find for about $150. And loose you can get for $80 to $90. Alright, and so after the blue and white is a very similar console. This one is the red and white variation. This one, it's the watermelon red on top, the same white on the bottom. This one's slightly more expensive, maybe $160 to find complete in the box. Loose, I'm showing this one around $100. Alright, so next I have another Japanese console. This one is one that I actually have in my personal collection. This is the Pikachu Blue console. Now, like I said, this is the Japanese variation, so it's a light blue. It's got Pikachu on the face, Pokeball power button, resets the foot, but this is the light blue Japanese version, not the American dark blue version. That's the biggest difference. The top is light blue. The bottom's the same yellow on both the American and Japanese. The other big difference to note in the Japanese version is the controller. Let me just grab mine. The controller says Pikachu. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, Pikachu rather than Pokemon. On the North American edition, it says Pokemon on the controller. And of course, the controller's two-toned as well. Now, for this console, I would say in the box, you can get it for about $220. Loose console, I'd say about $120. Alright, so after that, give me one moment to get the picture pulled up for you. After that, I've got, again, the Japanese counterpart to the blue Pikachu is this orange Pikachu console. I'd say it's slightly more rare. It seems to be a little more expensive. So with the orange console, I'd say you're looking about a $230 for it in box, with loose consoles costing you about $150. Alright, so after the Pikachu consoles, the next most rare I would say are the Funtastic series. This was a series of 6 consoles. They were clear and all in different colors. The least rare I would say, and probably the one you've seen the most, is the Jungle Green. The reason for this is because Donkey Kong was supposed to be the huge game for holiday 1999, and so of course there was a bundle pack, and that's probably the one you've seen here. Of course it did also just come in a regular box without Donkey Kong 64 bundled. So I would say as far as pricing for this one, when you're looking for just the boxed version, you'll pay about $230. A little more for the Donkey Kong version, maybe $250, somewhere around there. And loose, you can grab this console for about $100. So next on my list after the Jungle is the final one I've got here in my personal collection currently. This is the Ice Blue console. Looks like that. This one I would say is pretty similar in rarity to the Jungle console. I'd say all the Funtastic are pretty close in rarity. So this one I've got priced fully in box about $250 and loose for around $120. Now continuing with the Funtastic series, after the Ice Blue, we've got the Grape Purple. Again, very similar in rarity. I'd say this one may just be a little more rare. Still about $250 boxed, maybe $130 for the loose console variation. Next up is another Funtastic. This one is the Smoke Gray. The Smoke Gray console does seem to be a little more rare, with boxed variations going for about $260 and loose consoles going for around $130. After that, you get up to one of my favorites. It's the Watermelon Red console. The Watermelon Red, again, similar. This one kind of jumps in price a little bit. When I look for it, I see them around $300. You can get one easily in the box. Again, the loose one still is about $130. After that, my other favorite of the Funtastic series is the Fire Orange. This one is very similar to the Watermelon, about $300 for a boxed variation, and then $150 loose. Now next on my list, this one may actually be a little controversial because this was once considered to be one of the most rare N64 variations. It's another Japanese exclusive. It's the Daya or Daiei Hawks console. This one, I would say, was more common in Japan than maybe we initially thought, and now they're kind of making their way onto the market more commonly. This is my all-time favorite console. It's orange on top, black on bottom. It's important to note this is a different orange than the Fire Orange Funtastic and a different black than the Smoke Gray Funtastic, so it's completely unique. Now, looking for this console complete in the box, you can find it for about $350. That's, again, easily, you can go buy this $350 today. Loose for about $150. Alright, so after that we get back to Pokemon themed systems. This one was an Australia exclusive. This is the Pokemon Stadium Battle Set. For whatever reason, they did not get Pikachu on their console. Instead, they just got some Pokemon decals, and the controller is inverted from the NA, so yellow on top, blue on bottom. This one, even though the price doesn't reflect it, I would say, at least in my area, seems to be the most rare. This one comes up for me the least. But I would say you can, if you look, you can find it in the box around $500 for this one. Now, loose consoles I usually see for around $200. Continuing with Pokemon consoles, the last one was the North American Pikachu Nintendo 64. Like I said, this one says Pokemon on the controller. It's also a dark blue with a yellow bottom. This one seems a little overpriced for me currently because it did sell pretty well in America from what I recall, and so The price in the box normally is quick. You can find it for about $600, and a loose one about $230. So that one I'd say is a little overpriced right now. After that, my second most rare console right now is the gold. Now, the important thing to note here, when I say the gold console is the second most rare, this is assuming you want the North American release. This one was a Toys R Us exclusive. You can see it there on the left-hand side. It's got the Toys R Us logo. This one's really gone up in price because of that. So I would say for this one, you're looking at about $650 in the box and $200 for a loose console. That being said, Japan got the exact same console, gold, exact same, but it's significantly less rare. You can get the gold Japan boxed one for about $160 and a loose one about $80. And because the Nintendo 64 didn't actually use software for region locking, the cartridges are just different sizes, or different shapes, not even different sizes, for different regions. It's very easy to mod this to play American or PAL games. And so definitely you could probably just get the gold one unless you want, a full collection of the boxed or the Japanese one. And then the final Nintendo 64 console on the list, and what I would say is the most rare, is the Justco console. In my opinion, it's kind of lame. It's not my most favorite console variation. This one's the see-through gray on top with the see-through white on the bottom. But this one is definitely the most rare. Normally I see it going in the box for about $1,100. And the loose console is a bit cheaper. You can normally get that for about $250. And that's my rarity guide and pricing for Nintendo 64 consoles currently. I really do appreciate you all watching, and please comment with any suggestions you've got or any questions on the consoles. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for my next video. I'll be doing a Nintendo 64 controller rarity guide. There were a lot more variations in controllers, so we'll talk about those, how rare they are, and what the price is. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.